When we think about our emotions, we have the tendency to categorize them based on different factors, usually whether the emotion feels good or bad, or if the energy is high or low. But what if there was another way to frame this? Our emotions originate from our primary processes of thinking. This is what is responsible for instinctual behavior and reflexes, such as an infant crying, or your pupil dilating in response to bright light. These systems help us recognize comfort zones that promote our survival, and discomfort zones that don't. As we evolved, the brain developed ways to emphasize the importance of both, and alongside those instincts and reflexes, we have the 7 basic emotional systems. So let's break them down. The first is seeking, or the desire system. This is the general purpose motivation to acquire any and all of your survival resources. It's the drive to explore, learn, and search for things one craves. Things such as drug use, stress, sickness, or depression tend to make the system underactive. And on the flip side, overactivity in the system can promote impulsive or excessive behavior alongside manic thoughts and delusions. If the world is full of things to discover and new things to do, you will live a life where fulfillment of the system comes naturally. This idea is interesting because it promotes the concept that positive thinking really does change how you interpret the world around you. In essence, you shape your reality with your mind. Second is rage, or the anger system. When seeking is halted, anger is provoked within us, because the loss of freedom goes against the reality of our world. We want to seek, and being faced with an obstacle, whether that be a person, situation, or some outside force, can frustrate us. The system is closely connected to the fear/anxiety system, and explains the idea behind fight or flight. Basically, when in the presence of danger, do you choose to fight back, or do you run away? In anger's case, it promotes aggressive behaviors like ones seen in animals who are irritated or restrained, and it works to promote fear in others as a form of intimidation. This system works to drive us to push against what is attacking our reality. So it's no wonder why people can get so furious when someone questions their beliefs. The system keeps us within a safe place. However, it's good for us to recognize when rage is misplaced, and we need to meet someone where they are to have a healthy discussion, even if we don't see eye to eye. Third is fear, or the anxiety system. As stated earlier, this is the flight response to potential pain or danger. In situations with less immediate threats, the response may only be to freeze in place. The system is stimulated in cases of overwhelming anxiety with no environmental cause, the feeling that something is wrong without knowing exactly what. If rage is to push against forces against us, the anxiety one feels is to set the barricades down early and remain on the watchtower even if there's nothing actually happening. This hypervigilance may have been useful in a hunter-gatherer society, where threats like wild animals were common, but in the modern day, it can feel maladaptive. Plenty of coping strategies are abound for dealing with anxiety, which include pharmaceuticals and different types of psychotherapy. Fourth is lust, or the sexual system. This system is aroused by male and female sex hormones, testosterone versus estrogen essentially. However, just to be clear, men also have estrogen and women have testosterone, but in lesser degrees, of course. These differences lead to gender-specific sexual tendencies. There's an entire industry that works to meet the tastes of both sides, and we see plenty of discourse online about what men/women really want, because it seems like there is some kind of a divide in understanding. But even so, the system supports the goal of having offspring, and alongside the seeking system, the search for sexual rewards, like a good lover, or for some, many lovers. Fifth is care, or the nurturance system. This is the system that functions to promote care for one's offspring. This system has much to do with the bonding for maternal care and how there's a strong connection in female sexual rewards and maternal motivations. However, this could also be seen as bonding in general. When you care about someone else, their well-being is of high importance, whether this be a family member, friend, or a romantic partner. We're social beings down to our primary thought processes, and as such, we spend considerable amounts of time fostering those relationships and showing care to those closest to us. Sixth is grief, or the separation distress system. This is the system that works to solicit nurturance, especially in young children, who intensely cry to alert caretakers of their distress. There does seem to be a distinction from fear, as it's less to do with the threat of imminent danger, and more with the spontaneous loss of feelings of security. The fact that there's a difference in the mind about being threatened and being without those we care about is interesting. The loss of care promotes feelings of sadness, depression, and despair. Seventh and final is play, or the physical social engagement system. This urge to run, chase, or wrestle one another through positive aggression encompasses the ability to learn social rules and refine social interactions. The body is built to move around and interact with the world around it, and by doing so, it helps us better understand our bodies and those of others. We build empathy for one another when we know what is too rough, and by learning to play fair and follow a given set of rules. So seeking, lust, care, and aspects of play can be thought of as rewards the brain gives oneself for doing things that promote positive emotions. And rage, fear, and grief promote escaping situations that promote negative emotions. This is why when you suffer from something like depression, the effects can be made worse. Lack of care and play lead to conditions where fear and rage become elevated by the overactivity of grief, which can be caused by low activity in the seeking system, which loops in on itself. Now, with all this talk of systems, it can seem very cut and dry, and that's just not the reality of the case. These systems can be affected drastically by your own biology, upbringing, and other social components. This is why in more severe cases, pharmaceuticals are administered to assist with chemical imbalances in the brain. Because of the potential side effects of taking certain drugs, it is highly advised that you speak to a licensed professional to get a prescription and guidance on what could best help should you decide to go down that route. In addition, psychotherapy is another alternative and great supplement to the pharmaceutical path. So by understanding these fundamental systems that drive our behavior, we can better see that our emotions are natural parts of our mind that work to advise us on which decisions we should make next. Sometimes we can get caught up in our own heads and start intellectualizing everything that we feel, and that's not always the best. There's an importance in recognizing the simplicity that you just need to eat something. Seeking. You need ways to decompress after stressful events. Rage and fear. You need ways to connect with other people. Lust and care. You need to reach out when times are tough, grief, and you need to go outside and get physical. Play. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.